Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. So if you guys are not aware, there's 100 free pulls coming this week. So obviously, a lot of players are going to try to reroll in these 100 free pulls, and which is why I'm making this video to hopefully give you guys a better idea on which characters to obtain, right? Because we're going to have two different banners coming. So we're going to have Swimsuit Ui, alright, she's going to be one of the banner right here. And then we also have Swimsuit Hinata. Alright, so both these characters, they are unique, they are limited. Alright, you can see right here, this unique badge right here, right? That means that if you miss them, you will have to wait probably one whole year for them to actually make a rerun in a separate banner. Now, you also get free Swimsuit Koharu alongside. This is going to be a free welfare character. She's going to be the one available in the game, in the event. Alright, just participate in the event and then you get her for free. Now, I'm not going to be talking about these two characters as a whole because I've covered plenty of times their skills and what they can do. But ideally, if you can only pick one, Swimsuit Ui is going to be the better one. However, if you are new, right? Both of these characters are not going to serve much purpose to a new player's account. Swimsuit Ui is going to be good, however, she's going to be much more of a end game raids where she can support some characters. You can see move 4 allies to a circular area and then also add increased piercing effectiveness. So this is something that only veteran players will be able to benefit from. If you are a new player, you probably won't have that much piercing characters to begin with, right? So let's talk about a new player. If you are starting out Blue Archive in 2024, who should you reroll for? Now, first things first, my advice is if you can start right now, at the time of you watching this video, start as soon as you can, because right now there's still this event going on. Alright, so this is going to give you can see right here, 2,400 pyroxenes, which is kind of insane. You can see I can basically come here and just do this battle, and if I clear this reward, I'm going to get 1,000 pyroxenes right here. I'm not sure if you are still able to get both of them, but if you're able to, if you're strong enough to beat both, that's going to be the ideal case. And also, by beating them, each stage you get 200 gems right there. So you're getting 1,002 per stage that you can beat, and then 2,400 in total. That's a lot of pyroxenes, that's 20 pulls. And this is going to be able to help you push past this particular current week. Not just this one, but the next one after this, the 6% banner, you will be able to use your pyroxenes right there, which I do recommend, right? Do not use it right here if you can. One thing that I do get asked a lot is regarding the 100 free pulls. Based on my experience in the past, they have done this 100 free pulls a couple of times. You can log in on the last day and get all the 100 free pulls, even though here you mentioned that you gotta log in every single day, every day for 9 days straight to get all the rewards. But the truth is, I'm pretty sure based on the previous one, the previous 100 free pulls, you can log in on the last day and just straight out get the 100 free pulls if you're looking to reroll, right? Now keep in mind, you cannot, however, save this for the next banner. There's a 6% banner coming right after this, which is the Swimsuit Hanako, and that's the one that you must have. Sadly, you cannot use these 100 free pulls for the one later. You have to use it right now during these two banners. Now with that, let's talk about the best characters that you can obtain, right? Ideally, I do think that a lot of Blue Archive characters, they are all really strong and they can all be used in a certain stage, certain scenario. But you can't argue that some characters are just stronger and more flexible than others. One example that I can think of, probably you guys will know, is going to be Ako and Himari. So this girl right here, Ako right here, she's going to be one of the most flexible character in the game. Alright, straight up, she's going to be extremely good. So why is she so strong? She's a supporter, but one of the strongest one ever. Alright, you are able to buff, hyper buff one character to give them a bunch of crit rate and a bunch of crit damage, right? 39%, 73%. Alright, she also can heal, which is very good for a special character. You want to have the ability to sometimes heal your character. Alright, so recovers a little bit of healing. And then also right here, increase her healing. And last, increase everybody's crit damage by 17.3%. So she's just straight up the best supporter in the game. Fortunately, she has not yet been power crap, which I do personally think is a good thing, right? Now, same goes for Himari as well. So Himari is going to have a very similar role with Ako. So instead of buffing crit rate and crit damage, Himari gives you a bunch of attack. You can see increased attack by 105% for one ally. Alright, so that's going to be insane, just straight up buffing the attack. There's a lot of end game strategy that requires you to use both Akko and Himari in the same team, so you can just straight up buff one character, hyper buff them to increase their attack, increase their crit rate, increase their crit damage, and it's just insane. Alright, so she has a basic skill that basically deals damage, alright, and decrease the enemy's evasion. She also has an advanced skill that increases attack. And her sub skill is also what makes her really strong. She increased ally cost recovery by 20%. So this means that you are able to basically use your skills more often every time you increase the cost, right? So that means every single skill will have this cost right here associated with it. So that means you are able to spam your skills more often, and that's a good thing. So Himari is going to be one of the best support characters in the game as well. So both Akko and Himari, they are both really strong, right? If you can get both of them, I think your account is pretty much set, and you just got to worry about the rest of the characters. Now, why Akko and Himari, right? This is something that I get asked sometimes because they are both support characters, and if you come from probably other gacha games, maybe you have played a different type of game before, you'll be wondering why not reroll for damage dealers, why reroll for support? Now the reason why is because in Blue Archive, there's this thing called the assistant settings. So you can basically use your friend's assistant in any endgame, in a lot of the endgame contents. I wouldn't say any, but a lot of the endgame contents like raids and also drills. So those two are going to give you a lot of resources, including pyroxenes and gems, and you are able to use either your friends' characters, or you can use your guildmates characters. Alright, there's also guildmate, or it's called club in this game, right? So you can join a club. So if your club members can set certain characters for you, you can basically take advantage of their characters. So that way, it's going to be much easier for you to be able to tackle the endgame contents compared to you building up a DPS character, because the truth is building characters takes a while. So the DPS characters are going to take much more resources to build, right? Because you first up, you need to 5-star them. Alright, you need to 5-star them all the way, and then once you 5-star them, you need to unlock the unique equipment. And then unique equipment, there's 3 layers. There's UE30, UE40, and UE50, right? For most cases, it makes more sense for you to basically just use assistant, borrow your friends or your club members characters for the DPS, and then use your own Akko and Himari from then on to buff them both together. So both Akko and Himari, very good for new players to start out with. Now, if I can only pick one, who would I choose between Akko and Himari? That's going to be a tough one, right? They are both really strong. I personally prefer Akko as a new player because she has the ability to heal. Alright, this is going to be something that's very unique. This can sometimes save your character from dying, right? Because if you don't have enough healer, she can somewhat be used right there as a temporary sub healer. She's not going to be the main healer, but let's say if you can bring 2 healers, she's going to help you to reduce the burden of your other healer, right? I do like this a lot. Himari doesn't really give that. She does have the ability to increase the cost. But the problem is, once later on, there's this other girl, a very strong support character called New Year Fuuka. Very strong. She's a limited character, however, you can't really reroll for her. She's not in the standard banner. She has an ability that reduces EX cost by 50%, and she also increases crit damage. Now, sadly, you cannot combo New Year Fuuka with Akko. Alright, you can't use both of them in the same team because I believe it's because of the crit damage buff, it doesn't stack. So you have to use either Akko and Himari, or Himari and New Year Fuuka. Now, if you do intend to play this game in the long run, I don't know when New Year Fuuka is going to come back, but if you do intend to play the game in the long run, definitely Himari is going to be somewhat a better pick. But again, you're not going to go wrong with either. I would say Akko, Himari, regardless. I do like the ability to heal though, personally, based on my experience. This has helped me a lot in a lot of situations. So definitely I can vouch for Akko for sure. Now let's talk about a third choice. Akko, Himari, who will be the third good choice for a lot of players? I would say Iroha. So Iroha got sort of like a slight buff recently in JP server because she's now able to pair with another character, Ibuki, right? She is a tank that you can summon, and she will be able to help you do a bunch of damage. She's a very strong support. You will be able to use her in a ton of situations. She's also very strong in PvP compared to Akko and Himari, where you don't really use them in PvP. So if you get Iroha, you're pretty much set in some of your characters for PvP pretty much, right? Half of your team in PvP is pretty much ready to go, alright? Put Iroha, Tsubaki is free, best tank in the game, and then you can consider Serena as well. So I think like for a lot of new players, that's going to be like a half the beginner's team, right? Now these 3, I would say the best character overall to pull. Now if you want to pull for a DPS, standard character that's available in the standard banner, I most likely am going to recommend Yori. I think Yori is a very strong character. Now, she is still going to be one of the better piercing type because very easy to use, very cheap. Her EX skill cost is 3. That means she's going to be very easy to just spam her skills. She's also one of the few characters in this game that's kind of unique. She's a single target and a AoE at the same time. So in a way that she basically spams her shots in like a fan shape area, but you can spam this over the course of 3 times because she's going to fire 3 shots. So that makes her very good in a way. Like there's a lot of characters, perhaps Maki for example. Maki can only be used in single target, she's not an AoE character. But Yori can, she has that flexibility to basically be converted into that. So I do think that she's going to be a very strong character, very easy to build, and she will be able to carry you throughout in the story. Alright, in the campaign, if you're trying to push as far as you can, Yori definitely helps because I believe a lot of early stages, the enemies are yellow type. So you are able to have the advantage in terms of the weakness. So one more character that I believe a lot of players can consider getting is going to be Cherino. Now Cherino is going to be a character that I believe most players should consider obtaining, not for the sake of her skill, alright, but for the sake of her sub-skill right here. Alright, similar to how Himari is, she has a sub-skill that basically just increases cost recovery by 511. She's very strong, alright, so still one of the most used character alongside with Swimsuit Hoshino. Sadly, you cannot really reroll for Swimsuit Hoshino. She's not available in this particular 100 pull banner. She will be available during the 6%, but Cherino I would say is probably the closest to Swimsuit Hoshino that in terms of usability, you're probably going to use her a lot because of this particular sub-skill. You're just going to put her in your team and you're not even going to use her EX skill, right? Her EX skill is going to be very good if you're looking for an AoE damage, but if you're using her against a blue enemy or red enemies, right, she's just there just to give you the cost, and I think she's going to be very helpful for new players account to be able to help buff your account a little bit in case you can't decide on who to use. Now with that being said, these are my top picks, my top 5 in terms of the characters to basically obtain. Alright, if you're trying to reroll, I would say go for either one of these. Try to ignore. I would say if you're a new player, you probably don't really need this character that much, Swimsuit Ui or Swimsuit Hinata. While they are both decent, alright, I wouldn't say they are bad, but they are much more beneficial to an already established account, alright, a player that already has plenty of characters built. But if you are new, probably going for the characters that I mentioned, these 5 is going to make much more sense. Now, hopefully this is going to be able to help you guys a little bit in starting out Blue Archive. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'll be happy to help. Jump into my Discord server if you guys want more advice. I'm sure there are plenty of players that will be able to help you guys out. With that being said, that's going to be it for this video. Subscribe, give this video a like, and I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Have a nice day. Goodbye.